Okay.
Next will be 2 foot, 1 hole. We'll do each one twice normally during practice to warm them up. 2 foot each hole. Coming back facing me. Keep your hips low. Everything I do with the defensive line, I do with in perspective of trying to keep their hips low and shoulders low and everything moving forward. It's very contrary to what I teach my offensive linemen. Offensive linemen is definitely a more controlled thing. I want everything for my defensive linemen to be reckless abandon, to go as hard as you can, as fast as you can. Start there, come here. Forward, back, forward, back. Keep your hips low, exploding out of the gate. Yeah. Starting stance. The stance is the most important thing on the defensive lineman. You want all of his weight out here. Everything moving forward, his hips high. If his hips are high, his first step will be low and parallel, if nothing else, to the ground. When his head as high as he can get it, we want the hips high and the legs back. We want him to feel like a recoiled snake, just ready to bound. All right, ladies, stand up. Jeremiah, hop down. See, Jeremiah gets a longer stance here. Both of these guys have a real good pass rush off the edge. They got good feet. They got pretty good foot speed. Now, off the stance would be his first step is always going to be with the back foot. You cover more ground. Stand up. If I was going to take off out of my three-point stance with my left foot, I can only cover this much ground. You know, not many people have long legs longer than me. You don't cover much ground. So they're always going to lead with the back foot. You cover a whole lot more ground that way. Now, actually, I always teach my defensive linemen, if you're stepping right, your right foot's back. If you're going left, your left foot's back. We want to be as efficient as possible. First man to the punch is going to win usually. Give me a single step. Step and punch. Go. Nice and extended and committed. But the thing is, step back out. Extend for me. Now, he's over his post leg. If this guy right here, if he missed this fella right here on his extension, he's not going to fall on his face. If it was a zone play and he was a read key, he's still going to be right there. He's not too far extended over past his leg where he's just out of play on his own accord. Now, step and punch. Face, chest. Go. See how his feet gather? If this would have been a sled, we'd be focusing on how his feet are. He never quits driving. His momentum never quits. It's step. Just like if it wasn't there, his aiming point is beyond this guy. Just like in boxing, you don't punch to hit the surface, you punch 6 inches behind it. So when he steps through, he extends. His hands were already right here anyway. So he's here. Inside man wins. You heard Coach Beverly last night. Any good lineman's always fighting for inside leverage. This guy right here, he's got a better advantage anyway because he's coming with everything he has. So he's going to make contact and explode through the guy and get his weight up. Now, it all starts in the hips. If this guy comes out high, if he's one of these linemen or a 4-point lineman, he's at a big disadvantage right now. If you're right here, your shoulders where they need to be, hips, knees, and everything, I'm ready to strike. It's almost hard to stand straight up out of that 3-point stance when you're elongated. You got better speed coming out of the gate because if you move your hand, that's where you're going. naturally. Now, give me an extended punch. Just hold the punch. Okay? Go. Same thing. Nice and extended. Now, give me a rip left.
Rip left?
Yep. Hold the first step. That's it. Go. All right. Notice his shoulder placement. He stepped. The reason we twist, the object to hit here is a whole lot smaller. And if he did get on, come out here. A good offensive lineman's taught to let this guy do what he's going to do. And he's going to shoot him, right like this. Okay, now, rip and twist right there. Your object's a whole lot smaller. You will glance off. It's a lot harder. That's why you teach offensive linemen, never lunge. Never get over your post leg because of just simple stuff like that. Simple rip, target smaller, and even if it isn't smaller, you got angles you have to hit at that moment. Now, rip and dip, 1 yard pass. Go. Getting his hand underneath is definitely an imperative. When he rips under right here, that's not just to get his shoulders thin. That's in case this lineman is quicker to the punch, because we teach a quick pass set. Boom, like this. If he rips, you'll get his hands off. It's all about hand movement. Everything up front that I really focus on is feet and hands. The guy who controls the inside usually is going to win. Now, give me a little bit of a loop, just slow. Now this guy right here is going to constantly do this. He's going to fight you to the outside. That's what he wants to do. That's the best thing he can do, create a natural pocket, let you take yourself out of the play. Now, what we often see that a defensive lineman wants to do, wants to chicken fight, because he knows naturally the quickest route to that quarterback is a straight line. And the hardest thing that I've come across is trying to get our linemen from standing there chicken fighting and to get off of it. So he knows that going out here isn't the best way to get to there. He knows right here's the best way. But if he tries to go out right here, this lineman right here is going to definitely try to deflect him. That's what we coach. So now what he's got to do, he's got to beat him with the speed. Starts out with the stance. Second is his hands. Getting control of that thing. We don't really necessarily want him to press out here, but if he did, want you to press him, next thing to do is get a hold of the hands. Control his hands. So if he come out, do it. I stuck my hands out. First thing he wants to do is get them hands off. Coach Bev spoke of that last night. Get control of all of that. A bad offensive lineman will do this every time. And if you can ever get his shoulders turned, it almost doesn't matter what his hips can do to make it up. He's beat. That's why we teach him hands in, strike when you need to, keeping your shoulders forward. So he's got to play with his hands. Remember, his first threat is his feet, his starting stance. The faster he comes off, the more respect he gets from this offensive lineman. It gets this guy guessing. That's what I teach these guys. They were pretty good at it, to get them guessing. First play, hit them with everything you got, right in the mouth. I mean, bull rush straight through them. That's what we're going to go over all these things in a minute, so I'll explain it. Well, you want to get respect out of him. If you get respect out of your offensive lineman, you've got him guessing. If you get him guessing, you can beat him with your own game. Get him to do what you want him to do. And I'll explain that right now. Not many offensive linemen really know how to pass block. But what we teach these guys right here is to play your game to where you get him to do what you want him to do. Coach to run, coach, get him to do what you want him to do because he's still just a person. He's still got his own free will. Now, I teach these guys, both these guys got good foot speed. They ain't big and they ain't super strong, but they got good speed and good hands and good feet. So I teach them, get him guessing with your feet, run a loop, beat him on the outside. He'd come on the outside. If he beat this offensive lineman right then, the next thing he would try to do, this guy right here is going to start cheating it. He lines up on the outside. This guy's going to cheat it a little. He's going to respect it. Right here, he's already going to start having this guy's hips turning because he's not going to want to get beat on the outside. Let's come back. So if he starts to run his loop, and I go ahead and start cheating right there. When my hips return, he got a hold of my shoulder and my arm, and he cuts back under. I mean, it's really a mental game. You play smart. I'd rather have a kid do what I teach him than be a super athlete any day up front for me. So what we started out with was a loop. We got him cheating out here. So he's coming out. And when he's seen his hands come out and his hips turn, this is what he's watching. Okay, he's not watching here. When his hips turn like this, it's when he plants, grabs hold of that shoulder, and turns him in. Because like we said, the quickest route to that quarterback is this straight line. He did have to take a small detour to get back under it. Now the bull rush. Now you got him really respecting the outside. You got him guessing, well, he could cut back in on me. So he's playing light. He's going to have a real finesse thing going. So the next thing he's going to do, he's going to be light. He's going to be ready to catch. Next thing I would try to train these guys to do is just run him over. I mean, you've hit him from every aspect almost now. So this guy's going to pass it. He's going to be real light. He's going to run straight through him. So now you don't know where it comes from. That's why Coach Beverly, he'll coach his linemen. It doesn't matter what this guy does. You do what you're told. You pass it, keep your hips low, keep a good anchor leg, a post leg and anchor leg, chest back, hands in. No matter what he does, I'd be there. But this guy right here can play reckless abandon. Ain't as much thinking. So now you've done that. You've looped him. You've posted a loop, cut back under. You bull rushed him. Now you got to push-pull. If he exploded out in the bull rush, he's going to start leaning heavy. Just snatch him. It's an extension and out. You can't grab that, can you? Jeremiah, come here. Stay there. Grab a hold of him. Now, Jeremiah, just lean on him. Lean on him good, like he's going to hit him. Just already, if he moved his leg, he's going to lean on Jeremiah. A push-pull is as soon as you hit, let me in here. As soon as you hit, extend, and then you pull him. His weight will help pull you, and you pull him past. Now remember, push-pull ain't going to work every time. If this guy does what he's supposed to, you got to get him to do what you want him to do. You got to beat him off the edge. You got to bull rush him. You got to spin, you got to swim, rip and dip. All of it will set it up. But a good offensive lineman, until this guy honestly do what you tell him to, and that's wide open, good start and stance. Every play, this guy right here is still going to be doing what he's supposed to be doing. That's why the start and stance is important. Lowest man wins. When he comes out and he's good and low, and he fires in right there, creates an extension. Right when the extension's created, the separation, that's when you get off. Don't stand in chicken fight. If you're responsible for B gap, you take B gap, get him off of you right then, and find the ball. The longer you're in with this guy, entangled with him, the more likely you're not going to be in on the play. This guy's taught to keep inside, grab a hold inside, and do some of the hands. All right. Jeremiah, split him. All right, let go. Grab him. Dip and rip to the right. Now, do it slow first. Offensive lineman right here. He beats you off the punch. He's got inside leverage on you. Defensive lineman, we coach him. We do all kinds of drills to teach this right here. Dip and rip right. Slow. Get under it, rip it off, and spin. Even if he stayed a hold of him, in real life, you can really hold on to a jersey. You're not supposed to. And this right here will make it evident. Grab back, inside, rip under it, hold it. Now right here, when he spins off, this right here is going to be evident. That's more of a tackle than a block. All right, I'll do it fast. Show them what it looks like. Go. It's really hard to hold on to that. Grab back, hold Jeremiah. Rip and dip left. Go. Now swim. Now we went over how you would set these things up. Getting respect out of that offensive lineman. Get him guessing. If he's a run player, we've pretty much taken care of most of everything anyway by a good start and stance. Meeting him as far on that side of the line of scrimmage as you can is your best threat. Moves ain't as important at that point. It's hit and separate. Get him off of you because that ball's going somewhere in here. You get him off of you, and you got downline movement. But we're doing pass rush right now. Swim left, show him slow. Get the shoulder. This right here is a really effective thing. I used it a lot myself in college. Remember, every day we focus on start and stance with these guys right here. It's the best thing you got. If you've got good foot speed, you better utilize it with everything you got. Off the stance right there, we really want him to beat him. But you want him to get a hold of the back of that shoulder, pull it, get thin, and get past him. Now, lock back up. Jeremiah, grab him. Now, you've seen Coach Beverly doing the quick hand drills, the pop and get inside leverage. Well, we teach our defensive guys to do the same stuff. We teach it in a somewhat different manner. But we know when you come off the line, this defensive guy is going to be doing one of these numbers or one of these numbers. We want him to come inside, get inside leverage. But if he had gotten beat, you got plenty of options to get him off. Get a swat. Show him that. Chop him. Creating the separation, getting your hands back inside. But what I don't really teach is the difference between this and offense. Is offense is going to always fight to get back in. He swats me off, I want to get back in. Defense, he's got a hold of you. We want him off for good. We don't want to entangle with this guy. This guy's in our way of our objective. So, grab back, swat left. Go. Now, chop him down. Go. Everything we do is about creating separation. This right here is the best thing he can get a hold of. Shooting him up. All right, Jeremiah, get back over here. Get behind the chase. Well, I would set the cones out. Now, as far as drills we would do, we got a circle. We got a half. All right. Remember, everything that I'll do is going to have to do with start and stance. I've actually got one of my centers here and a tackle here. I teach my tackle a 2-point position on offense, but on defense, it's total. Everything he does, everything these two guys did on offense is totally different from defense. Right here, they're all stretched out. We went through start and stance, but every time we do a drill, we get them to do start and stance. So here we'd have a loop left. Line up and run it. Staying low to the ground, keeping the shoulder low, making your target as small as possible. Set. Go. Everything's about feet. Jeremiah, run it to the right. Go. All right. We would probably do that about 2 or 3 times through. Rip, left. Same thing. Now we're adding a rip into it. Go. Everything we're going to do, we want this guy just to we want it to be second nature. Rip right. Go. We should have somebody hold Jeremiah. Just stand there with a hand on that. We'll time this, give them an objective, see how fast we can get to it running this sloop. We'll rip. Rush the quarterback, you're low. Come for a swat right here. Sit. Go. Jeremiah. Go. Jeremiah's hips are a little high right there. Just remember, if you do decide to do these, while you're doing them, getting that lineman used to being an athlete. Getting his hips low and running that. The lower he is, the lower that shoulder is, the less likely he's getting blocked by an offensive lineman kicking out here and then turning on him. We want him used to being able to move and move in a low position, just to be an athlete. Let's see. I'll hold it. Give me a good explode, 1.5 step, and extend. There you go. See the low center of gravity on an explosive step like that? This thing's going to be hard to do to shed. When he came out, he extended, he got the half step. The reason he had a half step is because that's the moment we want to shed this blocker. The longer you're on there, like I said, the less likely you're getting off of it. That 1.5 step, when you created that separation for that moment, is when he's gone. You get rid of him right then. Now, extend, half step, shed to the left. So go. Good. Now come, just hold it. Now, he came out, he extended on his half step. Although earlier I said we keep driving through, but in reality, the faster we get off, the better. This half step isn't actually the half step. The half step is his plant foot to get out. He's extended him, and right there. The half step is just the pause in the drill. So it's extension, it's step, hit, extend, plant, and shed. As fast as it comes. Now. Oh, man, need that sled. Okay. One more time. Quick. Okay? Hit and extend, shed. There you go. We all know that the dummy is going to be different from live drills. You guys want to button up for a minute? All right. But this is one drill that we'll do to rehearse it, just like you would do anything lightly to get it in the player's head. Then you do it live Then you would do it live. Now remember, you got to hit this guy, like we said at the start, the respect thing. You hit him with everything you got. That hit, that explosive hit that you have, and your hands and hips creating separation. That split moment is your separation. You shed the block right then. Off defense, offense. Yeah. Go. It's all a split moment. How long it'll last. Hard to stand up in here. Slick. All right, well, that's it for the live stuff right now. Now we'll go on to hips. We've had feet, hands, hips. Can you go on your knees and do that right now? We ain't got a sled. Now, see, a natural position. Head easy for a second. Like we showed. When you're in your stance, see, I'm cooled up in a similar manner that he is right there. So I'm here. Now I've got that same manner right here. Just like Bev was speaking last night, you've always got position to make power, and it's here. Power cleans is the most useful lift you have. And this right here, we teach our players how to use their hips, legs, chest, and shoulders. Get this guy off. An explosive drill. We get their head in. We usually do this on a sled. So go. Explode your hips. Sling your hips. Go. We do that a couple times through on individuals, and we do them as an offensive line on a sled. We had all 5 linemen up here on the 5-man sled. It'll come off the ground. If that thing doesn't extend, they're not doing it right. You can really tell what's evident, who's lifting, because when they lift, and if they're not using their hips, they're still going to be cooled back like this. It's an all-or-nothing thing. Remember, defensive lineman, he's wide open. He's everything he's got. An offensive lineman has to be a whole lot more controlled in what he does. Now, I don't know if I can hold that for you to step and extend it. We'll try it. Okay? Yep. There you go. One more time. There you go. Does everybody notice the power clean form right here? And the same thing he did, we do the ground on the knee to get him used to using the hips. Remember, it all starts with starting stance. Coming off as hard as he can, he's still cooled. The next thing is explode him off. It all happens in a split second for the separation. Let's see now. Now, bell drill, Jeremiah. All this is leading up to trying to get your players to be able to do it live. I know we're doing drills, and any player will learn to do the drills. But after a while, they got to start rehearsing it live. We line up our offensive line. We line up a defensive line. We usually give them 2 goes because somebody's always going to mess up. Somebody's going to get beat. So if we's running out here, come out here at tackle, defensive tackle. Go on out, Jeremiah. Have all your linemen stand in place. Everybody just stand their ground down through here at their position. And if you're focusing on defense, you coach up defense. Right now, that's what we're doing. The quarterback's back there. Coach Bev spoke about angles last night. We don't really run a wide here. We might give him an outside. We don't run a wide. He can see right now where his shortest route is. That's what he wants. And when you do this in a drill, you'll see that's what they're going to try. He's going to try to get this inside. But an offensive lineman's taught inside out. He's going to step in the sink, Jeremiah. Right there. He's took it away. So this guy right here, we teach him foot speed and hands. His hand's already out. Now take it and go. I don't know. We won't do full-blown bell, but it's just one-on-one, and you focusing on all the little things you just taught. The hips, because remember, you can do it 2 to 3 times in a row. Give that guy on defense enough time to set up his moves. Give him time to set up a bull rush, a spin, a swim, a rip, any of it. Like right there, Jeremiah set in. Chase's natural thing is to take outside. He's a speed player. He's going to come out here and he's got good hands. Now, the next thing Jeremiah was going to do is I know Jeremiah would be respecting that. Jeremiah would come out and he'd withdraw that hand. He'd be a whole lot more timid with it. Chase would rip back under him. Next play, he would have Jeremiah guessing, and he'd bull rush him. You do that down the line, and you give the other guy the chance. We ain't going to do it in here, fellas. Who up on your pass? Mason, come here. Just stay back there, son. Now, taking on the double for a defensive lineman is it's the biggest challenge he's going to face. His best threat is his speed off the line, his start and stance. That's his biggest threat ever. To fill a double team just takes practice, rehearsing it. Just like if you was a fighter, you eventually learn to relax in the ring and see everything that's getting thrown at you. If this guy right here is head up right here, and he's coming B gap right here, and he feels this coming on him, we teach to get thin and get low right then. We also know the reality of the double team isn't you're going to really be successfully just splitting this thing. I mean, we'd rather you be there because evidently they want you out of there for a reason. If he's bringing somebody down, he wants you out. So, if you can't beat it, if you've got 2 able-bodied offensive linemen right here that you can't beat the double team, get low and get down right then. Stay in where you are. Hold your ground. It's the hardest thing you can do is to hold your anchor. Very similar to the dip and rip. To get thin and try to split it, right then get down. If you can't get through it, get down. So, right here, Chase. Jeremiah, just put a hand on the bag. Just rehearsing the double team split. Go. Good. Back up. One more time. Set, go. All right. Jeremiah, Chase, hold it. I'll sit here. Let's get over Chase. Let's get back some. There you go. Dip the wrong way. Dip the wrong way. Get low. Set. Go. Remember, always get thin. Now, get rid of the dummies. Come here. It's not wide open. Tackle, guard. 3/4. Working on him, okay? Now, he's going to feel pressure right here. When he does, he's getting thin right then. He was responsible for A gap at these guys. He was responsible for B gap, I'm sorry. So he's stepping here, he's ripping this way. He's feeling the pressure here, and if he gets sandwiched, if he gets pressured in between these two guys, he's going down. We don't want him out of this hole. All right, you ready? Go. Good, good, good. All right, that's it for the live stuff on the ground. Let's get back to it. I don't want to do too much live stuff on the hardwood here, but you know, do you have any questions on this double team? Because I don't want to rehearse it too much. It's always side you're stepping, you're dipping and ripping. You feel the threat, you feel the pressure of the double. You get thin right then. But it's always easier to single one man out of a double team than try to take on two at a time. Right there, he singled out Jeremiah. He swatted Jeremiah. You single out one. A one-on-one battle is always better. You know, the coaches last night and everything they talked about, they want a two-on-one. That's what they want. You make them take a one-on-one battle. You single out one of these guys. So another drill we'd add into this after we've just rehearsed how to take on this double team is not to let him just play a drill. We'd let him split them. He's just responsible for gap. He fills the double team and he sheds one direction or the other. All right. Just do it one time, okay? Go. All right. Now right here in this drill, I just sent Mason down. He's just playing anything out here, whatever he's playing space. I bring Jeremiah down on him. What he's going to do is, you know, a defensive lineman running upfield, and they just ran the ball underneath us is useless to us. So we play about 1 yard deep right here. So what we want him to do, we don't want him blown out. We want him to hold his ground. So when he come off, this guy went down, he's got to feel that right then and hold his ground right here, right past the line of scrimmage.
And I'll be